Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight for the Paranormal Show. Hey, Mad Max. Yeah, I like the intro, except that I changed the text, and then the text flipped back to the old text I had from the Nightmare Roadshow. So we are no longer with the Nightmare Roadshow. We are Emergency Encounters on YouTube, which is all things paranormal and first response. And just so y'all know, and I am here with my favorite crew. So I am here with Susie and McKenna and Celeste. Yay! So, what do you have for us tonight for our paranormal discussion?
So last week we kind of talked about like a couple options, and I decided to go with another asylum story. So we covered the St. Albans Sanatorium weeks ago in like one of the first episodes where we covered the Appalachians. But today we're going to cover the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. This one, yes, yeah, a lot of people do know about this one because it does have a lot of like history rooted in the Civil War. It's like this huge building in West Virginia, and it's very interesting what happened back then and then what people still experience now. So we're going to kind of get into the history a little bit first, and then we'll kind of go from there. So it was essentially it was built in West Virginia near the West Fork River. It was built in the mid 1800s. Like it started off in the earlier 1800s and then kind of had a couple hiccups along the way, you know, due to the Civil War, supply and demand. West Virginia had like seceded from the Union, or you know, side it was on. And funds that were allocated for this hospital or asylums essentially had to be, you know, used during the war. And so it kind of took a while for it to build. And then even after it was like finished in 1864, finished, that was just when they started to accept patients. They were continuing to build onto it. But it was a huge building. It's actually the largest hand-cut stone building in the United States, second largest in the world, second only to the Kremlin in Moscow. So it's huge.
Really?
And it's all, yes, it is the second largest hand-cut stone building in the world.
Wow.
Right? Which I thought was insane, you know, that's little West Virginia, you know, I mean, compared to, you know, when you live on the western side of the country, like everything's
Right.
huge, everything's bigger in Texas and all that.
Yeah, right.
But I thought that was a really interesting fact. But they opened in 1864, or they started to admit patients, and the building was built to comfortably house about 250 patients, where they each would like receive their own room. And kind of going along with like the theme of other mental facilities, asylums, sanatoriums built at this time, it was built with great intentions. You know, they built it with very large windows. It was designed so that people got a lot of sunlight and fresh air. And they wanted like a positive, healthy environment. But as history has shown for asylums and sanatoriums like this time, that did not track. It didn't continue on past probably the first year, maybe. There's not really an accounting of when it started to go downhill, but essentially what happened is there was severe overcrowding. So let's see here. I have a ton of info. So patients were admitted in October 1864, the very first ones, but construction had continued into 1881. So that's when they considered it like finished, you know, the building, the main structure was done. There was a ton of extra things added onto this facility. It was supposed to be self-sustaining, essentially. So it had its own farm, clock tower, there was a dairy on site, a water treatment facility, and its own cemetery on the grounds. And going along with the kind of theme, there were a ton of reasons people might get admitted. And of course, unfortunately, during this time, although there was already a wide variety of different races, different religions, they did segregate the rooms. So there were a small portion of rooms designated for African Americans, or specifically, they said Black people. But some of the reasons that people were initially admitted to this asylum included asthma, laziness. I know. I can't breathe, so you're gonna lock me in the loony bin.
Yeah, I'd be there right now. Oh my God.
A lot of people would. So laziness, I mean, I wouldn't be
Okay, I
super
can see
against.
that. I
Yeah,
would put people in asylums for that right now. I would.
yeah, that can totally come back. That can come back. Let's reopen it.
That's the Virgo in me. Sorry.
I
not
thought the
sorry.
same thing.
I'm not sorry.
Oh, it's wonderful. No, but I think the same. Anyway, domestic troubles. So I mean, especially women,
Yeah.
they were in particular admitted to sanatoriums, asylums, because, well, for any ridiculous reason, really, but being disagreeable with their husbands. We lost Celeste. She'll be back.
She'll be back.
She's always
She was
back.
being disagreeable,
Yeah,
Ready.
she's she's getting locked up.
Yeah.
But and then one I think is also a good reason to lock someone up is greediness. So that was another reason that they would put people into the asylum.
Did you say greediness?
Greediness, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So very, very interesting, very strict.
Wow.
So let's see.
I think
So-
half the world would be now.
Oh, right. I know. There would be an insane amount of people
For
But
what?
Greediness.
for greediness.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, people were getting admitted for ridiculous reasons, things that they couldn't control, things that people made up because they were sick of listening to them, talking to them, whatever. Really, you could come up with any reason that was a negative thing you'd have to deal with in human society and send them to the asylum. So as you can imagine, that 250 patient, like, single room limit got, like, skyrocketed. And I do have some numbers here as kind of like the change and the growth throughout the years happens. So it was designed for the 250, where they could have their own rooms to heal in mentally. But the hospital held 717 patients by 1880, which is quite the jump. 1,600 in 1938, over 1,800 in 1949, and at its peak, it held 2,600 people in the 1950s.
That is disturbing.
Yes, in a facility
That's
that was
crazy.
originally designed for 250.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so with people with, like, more diminished, like, mental capacity, staff would essentially, like, if they were disagreeable to the staff or they were violent with the staff, they were basically put in a, like, cage in the center of the room. And the room's already overcrowded. They've got beds on beds on beds in these rooms. But if you were more disagreeable than everyone else in there, you were locked in a cage in the center of the room. No bed, I presume, maybe a bucket, but that's, like, your only interaction is the people outside of your cage in the one room.
That's
So
okay. So I was an inspector in Folsom Prison, believe it or not.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so I had to go in Old Folsom and New Folsom, right? And New Folsom, before they got it all finished, was very much like this. There was they were 8 by 6, so 8 foot long, 6 foot wide cells, so just long enough for are wide enough for bunk beds and for you to stand up out of the bunk bed and sit on the toilet. That was it. And they were 4 bunks high. 4
my
guys in those
gosh.
cells. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is insane. Oh,
Mad
can
Max
you?
asked if I got the blues, and yes, I did.
I was gonna make an Elvis reference. You beat me to it, Mad Max.
Yeah, it was bananas, but I couldn't believe the overcrowding there. So I can't even imagine how many. So you said how many prisoners or how many not
People.
prisoners, I'm sorry.
Right,
People.
right. So, well, I mean, it kind of steadily grew, like for about like 100-ish, under 190 years. Designed for 250, had
Yeah, I was gonna say
2,600
kind
at its
of.
You said 600? I'm sorry.
2,600, 2,600 people at
At
its
one
cap
time?
at one time.
Holy sorry.
Yes,
Like
I
that's
know.
unbelievable.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
And
and
can you imagine like the conditions these people are living in?
yeah,
Yes, they
that
were.
is
Trista, that is right on point. Like they were
yes.
prisoners to the system. This was like, I mean, they don't have like they have commonwealths like in West Virginia, or at the time they had a
Yep.
commonwealth.
Yep.
And it was proposed and like pushed through by the Commonwealth, by the government in West Virginia at the time, to be this mental hospital, this positive facility. But of course, you know, they're not going to expand if they've reached their cap. They can't, you know, they're getting money from relatives, spouses,
The
whoever
state,
is basically,
whoever,
yeah,
whoever.
right. And so they're not going to
Oh, that
place a cap on the people that are bringing in the money, bringing in the income, or they didn't back then.
okay, so imagine you just have asthma and you're stuck in there with, let's say, 2,000 people who legitimately should be in there. Oh my
Right.
God, what a nightmare.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, like there were like it's very you hear about like lobotomies and stuff happening in asylum sanatoriums at the time. Yep, exactly. It did eventually become about the money. And they were gonna find, like, I'm sure, and this honestly, this building was a huge part of like the economy, because
Wow.
it had to staff however many nurses, security, people to work its farm and its water treatment facility. Like it had to be hugely staffed to
Right.
handle all these people, but there still weren't enough. There wasn't enough space for these people and enough people to care for them, or that did care for them. And so they lived in horrible conditions. So essentially, it was so overcrowded. Changes in like the treatment facility, and kind of like as time went by and things started to deteriorate and become more and more negative. Um, the oh gosh, let's see, where am I here? But essentially, so they had like poor sanitation, insufficient furniture, lighting, and heating in much of the complex. So they were basically living in horror. And then they did start to perform lobotomies on people, along with the torture. So the more difficult people they would do, and like there's different types of lobotomies, but they primarily did like the spike method, which is where, you know, you took like essentially a long needle, kind of like, if you know what like a knitting needle looks like that, but thinner. And it basically went into some people, like sometimes it would go like up your nose, and sometimes they would just send it right through your head to split that septum between your right and your left hemisphere. And so people were rendered essentially like brain dead, like functional. Your brainstem is still intact. You like, if you survive this procedure, you become like a human potato, which I have wish I had better terminology, but you can imagine, because of all of like the horrible things that people went through and the horrible treatment they had, that there would be a lot of negative energy, and a lot of people did pass away here. And so it did lead to a lot of recorded paranormal phenomena, which, you know, is why it's still so well known today. But I do have some reports here. So, I mean, there's numerous reports of paranormal activity. People see light balls, ghostly figures, moving objects, and some people have also claimed to have heard unexplainable voices and sounds. I do have one story.
Sorry.
No, we're good. But I mean,
I just
it's
can't even. It's the whole lobotomy thing is so disgusting. I mean, that's how the Egyptians basically uh they killed people, right? I mean, they would stick the
yes,
big needle up there and just start pulling out brains while they were alive.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
It would oh. Yeah.
for sure. Yes, it's horrible. It's horrible, and it was like it's been a common practice, and well, thank goodness it isn't now, but it's historically it has been in many cultures. Um, but we're going to talk about a particular spirit. Uh, so this is a very well recorded like entity that does live at the asylum now. People still like see her, like notice her and hear her in the facility, and it's it's very interesting that this had happened, and this was very early on too. So essentially, like what happened is this woman. There was a woman. Her name was Gladys, and she was one of the earlier patients in the asylum. So she had been assaulted. This was during the Civil War. She had been assaulted by a soldier. I couldn't find any accounts on, which side it was because the territories flip flop back and forth, especially West Virginia, between the Union, the Confederacy, back and forth. So it doesn't say who, doesn't really matter. Like she was assaulted, and that's horrible. And because she was assaulted, she was placed in the asylum. Um, and so once she was there, she found that she was pregnant from this assault. And she gave birth to this child, and unfortunately, Gladys passed away in childbirth. But her child was raised in the asylum. Her child was very well loved. She was raised by the nurses. The nurses named her Lily because they doted on her. They loved her. She was very well taken care of. And, being like the earlier, like kind of portion of this building's history, you can imagine that that's when possibly the best treatment of people was. Lily had her own room. She had lots of toys, lots of positive interaction, and these nurses, all the nurses loved her. She didn't have a mother. Her mother was passed away. Like she never knew her mother, so her parental figures were the staff at this hospital. But so unfortunately, Lily did pass away. She contracted pneumonia at 9 years old and subsequently passed away. Right. Which, I mean, the mortality rate for children in like the early to mid 1800s wasn't super high. You hear about families, or if you are on TikTok, you see like the gravestone cleaning videos, and like I love those because they tell about like the person's history. They look into public records. They bring that person essentially back to life, and not only are they doing that, but like they're cleaning their last like reminder of their presence on Earth. So I love those personally. But Lily did pass away in this facility that she was born and raised in, and there are many accounts of her presence still there in the building. And you can go to her room. She had her own room. They do tours, so they do like historical tours, and then you can also do ghost tours there now. But people have reported hearing like the voice of a little girl. Yeah. So Trista, yes, a lot of old ones, yeah, from that time, and it is really unfortunate. Modern medicine is incredible. Antibiotics are amazing. Yeah, we had strep run through my house, and I'm very thankful for antibiotics right now. But people would die from pneumonia, tuberculosis, just anything where their immune system got so weak or whatever reason. Modern medicine is amazing. But people will like go and visit like Lily's room, and they'll like leave candy or they'll leave toys, and occasionally items will like disappear. Like people try to leave the things that are brought to her, you know, essentially offerings or just like acts of kindness. And these items or these candies and stuff will like disappear. But it's always a positive presence in that room in particular, which is kind of nice when you consider the rest of like the horror that was happening like in the building. So it's kind of a nice little touch. Yeah, people have reported like seeing like things move, toys move. Yes, and there are other like paranormal sightings there. Like really, just about anyone can go and do a ghost tour. You know, you can do a ghost tour, or like if you have a paranormal investigative team, you can go in and schedule a time to take all of your equipment in. It's very, very cool that they're super, super open about it. Which, you know, not every place is, but it's very nice that this is. So aside from Lily, there are other spirits. They're said to kind of roam the asylum. There's a man that's regularly seen. His name is Jesse, who allegedly died in a bathtub, and there's also a patient who was brutally murdered by his roommate. So what's interesting about that one, I will have to look up the names, and I'll cover that in the next episode. But I did hear the story about this man that was murdered by his roommates. So he and his roommates there was tension, you know, kind of in this time. And they did murder this person, but not only is this person still roaming the halls, but his murderers, their spirits are still there as well. And people can go to like their room and like the areas that they frequented, and they notice the change in energy from when this person is there, the person that was murdered, and then when they notice a change in energy to a coldness, a darkness when the roommate's spirits enter the room. So there are accounts that there's that actual change in energy. There's that shift in energy from innocent to evil, which I thought was very, very interesting. And there's a couple different accounts of that. And next episode, I will like put the names in because I do have that saved. I didn't write it down because ADHD is great.
Nice.
Right. So I do have one other kind of like little mini story. So I found a, you know, Reddit thread. It was a person who had worked at the asylum, like, I mean, somewhat in like the past like 5 to 10 years. And so it's like when they're doing all of these tours and stuff. So they're in this building, you know, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And they're like there when they have to like do the ghost tours and all that stuff. But they like one of the early experiences, I did save that for a little story here. So he says, one evening while training for the job, I was on the first floor, coworkers, while everyone else was touring upstairs. We were just kind of killing time, quietly observing the area. Light from outside was coming in through the windows, casting on the inner hall's wall. In that light, so you can imagine the light is like coming in and like shining on the wall. So in that light, I watched the perfect silhouette of a man from head to hip walk through that light from left to right. I said something about it, and the three of us watched as an arm and hand moved into the light from the right side. I immediately ran into the room, began looking out of the window for someone outside. There was no one there. At that time, the realization that from the ground to the bottom of the window is like 7 feet, so there's no way someone could have been walking outside, didn't even occur to me. I will never forget the crisp, clear silhouette shape for as long as I live.
Wow.
Yep. So, I mean, unless
I
this
mean,
person's like over 7 feet tall, which I mean, they're out there, but few and far between. Uh,
right?
but that's a modern accounting of someone that was in this facility every day, and this is one of their first accountings. They do have some more, which are very, very interesting. I'll have to find the link and like post it on my Facebook because it's very cool to read all of the stories. Uh, but he saw stuff like this all the time. Like you see these apparitions, you see these spirits essentially.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's not okay. So somebody like Celeste and Susie, they see this stuff all the time. To them,
Right.
it's just everyday occurrence. But for the rest of us, when we see an apparition, it's really kind of startling. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of inhale a little bit when I see my dad, and it's just a glimpse. It's not like he's just front and center and he's chatting with me. It's just a
Right.
glimpse. But so yeah, that would be especially that height. Yeah,
Yeah, like
definitely.
we have to kind of go to like these places where there is this massive amount of energy and this mass convergence of like spirits and spiritual energy to have those experiences. So it is like really cool. I mean, I assume I have no idea your personal experiences, but I think it's cool that you guys have that connection that you do.
It is. It's very cool.
Yes. Do we
Thank you,
have any
McKenna.
questions?
Yeah. Any questions come up?
Okay. Did anyone actually get just let out? Was there escapes?
So there weren't any recorded escapes, but I mean, people that were disagreeable or tried to escape and were caught, like you don't hear about the escapes, which I mean, really any sort of prison, government facility, unless if someone's like not dangerous, they did have asthma and they were in there and they were like, I'm out of here, and they managed to escape. They're not going to be like on the lookout for a man with asthma, you know.
Wasn't running very far, right?
He's not going far, especially now that
It was
I'm
a
in
big
there. I'll tell you what.
facility. Yeah, it was a big facility.
And then another question. So if
Yeah.
let's say so these people did commit murder on another inmate in there, did they get charged with murder and go through the judicial system? Or was it we'll just keep them in here and just, 2 more doors down the hall, lock them back up?
So the main practice at this time was to lobotomize those people. So
Lordy.
generally, yes, because they were considered like a protected type person or a like a delicate type person. They weren't
But
like
also a
protected is a
menace.
good way. Right. They're dangerous, but they're in this special facility to be taken care of. You would want them to be taken care of. So generally, they were the ones first in line to be like lobotomized, and a lot of the time, people didn't survive the lobotomy, so it essentially was a death sentence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gosh.
Well, we're going to start transitioning into readings. We have our first person on the list here, Celeste or Susie, and this is anything from Mud Lover tonight.
What do you think, Celeste?
My phone is cutting in and out and has booted me out. So yell if you can't hear me or see me. There's a lot of weird things coming up on the 29th, I believe, is a solar eclipse, but this half, the western half of the United States, is not going to be able to view it. It'll be much earlier before our sun rises here to see it. And it's a partial in the United States, but most of the Americas on the east side will have some visual on that. And I don't know, the energy has been very strange with all the things that we've had going on with the eclipses. And of course, we're still in Mercury retrograde, I think, till April 15th. And there's just, I don't know.
Freaking Mercury. Can we
They
just
say
skip
that it's
right through
supposed to be.
Mercury retrograde?
Please.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to get the Gatorade out of the microwave and put some lavender scented,
Yeah.
sachets
Thanks.
under our pillow or something.
Thanks,
So
Celeste. Yeah.
Also, to add on for Mud Lover, just so you know, you are being watched and protected by your guides, your guardians. Your family's going to be okay no matter what decision comes the way of work. So don't worry about it because it's useless worrying. It's just giving you more stress.
And I know the worry there, Mud Lover, and I'm sorry. So it'll be okay. Like Susie and Gina always tell me, the universe has my back. So
Everything happens for a reason.
it sure does. It sure
You're just
does.
here to learn.
Well,
And
I
then-
read something really interesting, and it said when we've asked for something, then we still want to control it. And it's like we've asked the universe, we've ordered our pizza. So we need to sit
Yeah.
back and let them deliver what we've asked, because all the times we try to intervene or we worry, we're just causing roadblocks and for it to take longer. And I am
Right.
horrible at that. I'm really good at asking for help, but not so good at you're not doing it on my time. So it's that's what's happening right now too.
Mud Lover said
Being
thank
heard,
you, and
just not.
we have a question up for Caitlin. She said, I don't know if you can read this, Celeste, if you're on your phone. It says, hi, can I get a reading, please? I've been struggling with mental health ever since my grandpa died. Thanks. And our heart goes out to you, Caitlin. And very sorry.
Yeah, that's always a tough one.
Absolutely. The things that comes people.
You are cutting out.
It's a different as it is
You're cutting,
with mental
Celeste.
balance. Is it cutting in and out?
You're cutting in and out.
Can you hear me
Okay, I
now?
can hear you now. Maybe get closer to the phone a little bit. I don't know.
Okay. Can you see me? Because I can't see myself
Yes,
on the
I
phone.
can. Yes.
Okay. So right now has been a really, really difficult time with imbalances. We're still kind of coming out of the winter, so we have that whole the seasonal depression kind of thing from the lack of getting the vitamin D, from not having enough hours of daylight. Then you add on top of that a tragedy. And even though I promise you 100%, he is not gone from you completely. His body is no longer living, but his soul and his love and his memories are eternal. And I am sure if he has not, he will be visiting you. Sometimes it takes him a little bit of time to transition through of leaving the body, the soul journey kind of a thing. But we can't see them and touch them in the way that we had before. However, they still come and visit us. My mother was not at home when her mother died. She was out of the state, and she get here for. She was so upset, and so house, her and her dad. She was sleeping in her bed, and her mom. While my mom said, "I swear I was not dreaming," but she felt her mom come in, could see her, had her mom sat down on the bed and put her hand on her knee and said, "It's okay." Because my mom was just so stressed about not being there. And if we can train our mind or open our heart to that possibility, that when someone dies, the person we loved, the spirit who was there for us, is not gone. It's like
Right.
they've sold their house or they've bought new shoes. That part of them is gone. The physical body is gone, but the love and everything else is always there, and he's going to be looking after you. The positive part to pull out of this is he's not sick anymore. He's not old anymore. He doesn't have pain, and he would not want you to have pain. And
Right.
so I don't know if you have gone to counseling before, or if you have tried any kind of like an antidepressant or any kind of therapy. This might be a really good time just to have someone to talk with. But if you can try to close your eyes and just feel his love. Ask for him to be with you. They will be there. And sometimes they're already there and we just are so sad or so stuck in our grief that we don't notice the signs that they're giving us. It can be like feeling someone touch your hair. It can be feeling a pressure on the mattress next to you in the bed that they've sat down beside you, or just a warm kind of tingle on our back where they've maybe put their hands on the shoulders. So
Yeah.
it's a different way
Cutting out
to
again,
interact,
Celeste.
but they never truly leave.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Susie, did you have anything else for Caitlin?
Yeah, just to add on to that, your grandpa wasn't stolen from you. He wasn't taken from you. I know you feel that way because he is your soul. He is one of your soulmates, and we learn lessons from all of them. And it's so absolutely wonderful. He knows that you've been desperately asking for him to show himself and to give you a sign. He knows that. He said he is around you, but your pain is kind of blocking that right now. Same thing that Celeste said. But he also says that he doesn't want you to sit in that grief and that loss for too long because you have a lot of really good things coming towards you. But you will see him again. He will let you know. He loves you so very, very much that he will get through to you and he will send you a sign. I've got a lot of white things here. So possibly feathers where there shouldn't be feathers, particularly white ones. You may see it's going to just take a little bit of time because he's got some things that he needs to button up first, if that makes
Thank
sense.
you, ladies. That's excellent. And Caitlin, our hearts go out with you to you. And yeah, look for those signs. They're going to be there. Sherry would like she said, is there anything out there for me? I guess it would be kind of a random, yeah. Make sure you put your question in the chat if you'd like a reading. We go till 8 o'clock. So we try to
That's
get
awesome.
through as many as possible.
Did you see what Caitlin just put?
I saw a white feather today. I appreciate you guys so much. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. Caitlin, that's amazing. And it's kind of interesting because I went through kind of a rough patch here not too long ago, and I was telling Celeste and Gina while they're working on pulling for Sherry, excuse me. And I was walking out to my barn, and all of a sudden there was two white feathers that floated down on right in right here, and there were no birds. It was cold, it was snowy. I'm like, there's no birds out here. What's going? It was that was my sign. Everything's gonna be okay. Those are my guardians looking out for me, and it was very cool. It was very, very cool. I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get to my phone and tell Celeste and Susie. I was like, look at his feathers. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So those are signs. I get a lot of coins. Lots of coins show up. I'll look down and there's a dime, there's a penny, there's a dime, there's a penny. It's like,
I do too.
it's never $100 bill, but still, it's pretty cool.
I have Sherry's answer if you're ready.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, Sherry, that manifestation that we talked about last time, this is going to be a little bit cryptic. The manifestation and the way I told you to do it last time for your loved one that has gone astray, the universe says it's working. It's beginning to work, and you're going to see results from it pretty soon. Very powerful
cool.
manifester you are. Very good.
Very good. Celeste, do you have anything to add on to that? Or are you feeling much?
I have got the feeling. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me talking?
Yes.
Because it's kind of dragging what I'm seeing on your guys' end. But what I am feeling, Sherry, is it's important for you to spend some time outside. I know that you probably do that in general, but just some sunshine, some fresh air, and looking up I'm like seeing you out, maybe a park or the yard. I'm seeing trees and grass, and just kind of lifting your head and letting that sun shine down on you. It does a lot of really amazing things for us. It helps clear up if we've got any brain fog stuff going on, lifting our moods if we're feeling some depression or anxiety. But that I'm just seeing that you'll feel lighter and happier, and things will be more clear. I feel like either you're overthinking maybe a little bit, or you're inside more than outside, but getting out, taking your shoes off. It was so gorgeous today. Taking your shoes off in the grass and kind of doing some grounding will really help to lighten up everything, lighten up the way you're feeling, thinking, sleeping. And so that might just be something. We've got a couple days of good weather and some nasty weather, but it's going to be back to being good weather again.
Thank you. We're going to move on to Patricia. She asked if there was any readings for her. I don't mean to rush you guys, but I try to get through as many as possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to help keep
Yeah.
an eye on the comment section too. Patricia, that thing that you've been waiting so long for, and focusing so hard on it, and like being up in your head about it and being like, oh, why hasn't it happened yet? I've been waiting for so long. Like, come on, come on, come on. That's kind of pushing it away. So you need to bring balance back into your life, worry about the things that matter the most to you, your family, your health, your well-being. And then when you're not worried about it and you forget about it, it'll start coming in. Does that make sense? Because all of that worry, that stress, that anxiety, that why me, why can't I have it, is repellent energy. So it's pushing it and keeping it away.
Patricia, I do the same thing. Just so you know. I'm like, I worry enough for the whole universe. So just so you know. Yeah. We have
It's
a
kind
question.
of
Go ahead.
like human, but butterfly. If we chase the fly, we catch it. But sit down, maybe lean against the tree. Sometimes the butterfly will come and land in our lap. And that's kind of the concept with this. If we push so hard, sometimes we're supposed to push, push, push. But sometimes if we just kind of relax, have the faith it's going to happen, and then just allow it in its time.
That's like the couples that want to get pregnant so bad they try everything, and then when they finally give up and just relax and not worry about it, boom, it happens. Same concept.
Yeah. Regina asked if there's anything for her.
Ooh, boss lady. Mm-hmm.
Accurate.
Mm-hmm. Major boss lady. She knows how to cut out things that are not working for her. Looks like you've got a new passionate beginning coming towards you that's going to bring you even more money. Can I get an investment? Pretty nice, because she can cut right through everybody and see right through the BS. Like, man, she is like a firecracker. She'll just cut them right in half. This girl, when she touches you, your karma starts. This woman, holy crap, lady.
Wow.
This woman, when she touches you, if you do something wrong and you enter her energy, it'll kick your butt. But on the same coin, if you treat her correctly, then the good things flow towards you too, that she starts. Holy cow. So I've got some Bitcoin stuff going on here. You know?
So Susie, you were right on the money. Just like a little tidbit. This cup, I'm trying to cover the cuss word, but it says I'd shank a bee for you. Right in the kidney. So she gave me this. But yeah,
That's
she's
awesome.
the boss for sure.
Oh yeah, this is definitely boss vibes. Yeah, she got everything she needs, and she just keeps getting more and more. So that's pretty
awesome,
cool.
man.
Like, she is all of that, but she's also insanely kind and
Yeah, I can see that.
super loving. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, that karma, like if somebody messes with her, it bites them pretty hard. So
Yep.
that's a very nice trait to have.
Nice. Did you have actually a reading or did you just have insight on her, Susie? I didn't know. Did you actually give her a?
Well, it's technically both,
Okay,
but
I didn't. I'm sorry.
I did the cards. Yeah.
Okay, you did. I'm sorry. I didn't. I was so distracted by what you were talking about. I
Okay.
couldn't follow you. All right, Regina, I gotta meet you when I come
Yeah.
down to Vernal. I gotta meet you if you're down
Me
there.
too.
Anyway.
Everyone has to come up for Phrenomicon. Everyone has to come. It'll just be
Oh
a
my
big
God,
party.
got my tickets, got my hotel. I'm also there. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we have Mad Max. Mad Max just wants a general.
Do you want to try that, Celeste? Do you have anything for Mad Max?
Let me ponder on that. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
And
Ooh, he's
then
got
we have
some
The
hidden
one
energy.
thing I'm feeling is I don't know if you're feeling the isolated is not the right word, but not supported in the way that you want to be, or you're looking for support. And sometimes when we're in that mode, it's the time we're supposed to be reaching inward to pull out our own strength. I don't know if that applies to you, but I feel like you need to hear that you know the things you need to know. Sometimes we don't necessarily, and we hope
Yeah.
else
You're cutting in and
like
out
you
again, Celeste.
decide not people's or
Shoot.
Oh.
She gets
it's
so
You know,
much
I
like
love
energy.
Thank.
Pocatello internet. Can I just say it for everybody
I know,
involved
especially
here?
when I
It sucks.
start.
Like no
What?
matter where you are in Pocatello sucks. Okay. So you were cutting in and out. Sorry. Did Susie, did you want to follow up with anything?
That's
on that?
okay. Yeah, because as I get talking, I get passionate. So
Yeah, and then your phone cuts out. So you're very emotional this week. Yeah, I've got a ton of blue all over these cards. You're feeling very, very emotional. And I'm just kind of leading off what Celeste said, that you're feeling kind of unsupported in a couple of areas. But just remember, I know we've talked about this before. You are the boss. You're the master of your universe. You're in charge. You decide what you want your life to look like. Picture it a year from now. What do you want in it? And go towards that, because that's exactly what you're going to have.
Cool.
So buck up, little buddy. You got this.
All right.
got
Thank
this.
you, lady. Lizette wants a reading for what do the cards say for me for the rest of the week?
Hierophant. Nine of Wands. You're feeling a little bit guarded about a commitment that you have with someone, but it's going to balance out for the rest of the week. Yes, you were indeed right about it. I don't know why I've got to tell you, but yeah, you're right. Of course, you're a woman, so you're always right. And you've got the Emperor here, so you're going to be it's dealing with a masculine energy, and you weren't quite sure exactly why they were throwing a fit.
There you go.
Okay.
That's interesting. Trista's asking, anything you ladies get for me?
Okay. Want to try again, Celeste?
you can hear him.
Yeah, Celeste, you're breaking out real bad. Maybe a different part of your house or something would work better.
I think she's in the office.
Oh, you're in the office.
Yeah, I'm in my office.
Now I hear you.
It's like at home I have better reception, but cannot.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out real bad tonight. I don't know. Maybe we are actually having a solar storm. And just so you know, I think we're supposed to be able to see the aurora tonight, guys, if you are in Idaho. you're supposed to be able to see the Aurora Borealis tonight. So go out and check. And that could be what's screwing up the communications. So,
Could be.
and while we'll see if Susie can pull a card for, we're on Trista, right?
Yeah.
We're on Trista. Just
So-
to let y'all know, I get another
Trista.
rescue donkey in on Saturday.
Oh, yay.
Patty is coming. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for him for 6 weeks to show up.
Woo-hoo.
And I get
cool.
him Saturday. Yay! I'll have to
So-
share pictures of the new donk next week, guys.
That will be awesome.
Yeah.
So, Trista, the universe is sending you another opportunity if it hasn't already. Almost looks like you might want to branch out on your own. It has to do with work, that's for sure. I'm not sure if it's something, a new venture. It kind of makes you look, you're kind of trying to decide which way to go. It says use your intuition because it's always spot on. So yeah, something coming in fairly quick.
Wow.
Something with some equal give and take. So universe has
cool.
got your back. That was the first card out, was universe.
Mad Max said tortilla time. So Mad Max and Mud Lover are part of the paranormal inner circle here, and they know what that means. So that I fling tortillas every day to all the livestock. It's so much fun. So that means a new critter has to get used to tortilla flinging. I'm so excited. Sorry, guys. But yes, I think a lot of the readings tonight were like super positive, ladies. Like even though we're in retrograde, you expect more kind of like, oh shit, this is a roller coaster right now. But the readings tonight have been pretty positive. And a lot of times, and what you guys have told me lately, myself, is I'm my own worst enemy. Like I create my own problems sometimes with, like, I had this feeling of dread like you wouldn't believe for the last like week. And Susie's and Gina's like, there's not, and Carrie, she's not on here right now, but she's part of our group, and she's an amazing, phenomenal medium. And they're like, there's nothing going on. Just stop. It's like, stop. Okay. So finally, come Monday, everything calmed down. And I was able to breathe. And I don't know what it was about, but everything calmed down. So Mud Lover said, is retrograde why my dreams are vivid and horrific?
Yes. It dredges things up from your subconscious you need to work on, you still need to look at, and it helps you process things, which is nice because I've finally been able to process some things that have been sitting in my backyard for way too long. So, everybody gets all scared of them. Oh, they're terrible, blah, blah, blah. But who wants to carry around that emotional baggage forever? You know what I mean? Take a look at it and get rid of it. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And Trista said, that's crazy. I've been sitting the last few days trying to see what I want to do with life. Thank you so much. And
It's funny because I was
Go
going
ahead.
to tell you that card was literally, it's the Two of Wands, and that girl is sitting, staring out the window, pondering, holding one of the wands. And that's why I'm
oh
like,
my
yeah.
God.
I just get too nervous showing any of them.
I have put several times in the chat so that you guys can copy down Susie and Celeste's phone numbers and contact information. Please get a hold of them for a full reading. This is just a snippet of what they can do. This is just a snapshot, like right now, but they can do a full-blown reading for you. And the financial part you work out with them. We don't get involved here. Tammy is asking, Tammy Bohannon said, anything about me? And Trisha said, oh, that's crazy because I'll sit outside and just stare at the sky, especially at night at the stars. Yeah. Celeste, are you picking up anything for Tammy?
Can you hear me again?
Yeah, right
Can you
now.
hear me talking?
Yeah.
Apparently
Yes.
not.
Celeste,
no.
it's just not going to happen tonight, man.
Oh, yeah.
And are cut out. So
Okay, Susie, if you can pull
all
a
right.
card
Feel
for
like
Tammy.
she's been thinking about in
Uh-oh. We also
Uh-oh.
have something from Lily. Lily and Tammy both asked anything.
Oh, thank you, Lily. I
Either
didn't
of
see
them.
Lily, so thank you.
Okay. So for the last one, I'll just do the cards here. And it shows you in rest and recovery mode from a commitment. And it doesn't always have to be love. It can be some other kind of commitment or a choice that's been made that's been making you feel kind of like left out and kind of like unsatisfied. The balance for that is coming in soon. Yeah, there's 4 cups again. Underneath that, 7 of Pentacles. So the things that you've worked on concerning that situation are going to come in with balance. There's 2 of Pentacles again. So don't worry about it. Just do your resting and recovery right now and heal.
Thank you, Susie. And Lily.
Oh,
Lily,
Go
did
ahead,
she have a
yeah.
question particularly
Just
or
anything for her, just a
Okay.
general, it sounds like, yeah. And Trista said, I feel like we're in an old Verizon commercial. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? For sure. I'm sorry. And sorry, Lily. I didn't trying to keep up with the chat and it's hard.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Lily, it shows that you are on the right path. You have chosen the right path. Whatever it is that was real toxic that you walked away from is the right thing to do. And it's going to open
Wow.
up the door to a hell of a lot more. Can I say hell on TV?
Yeah, you can.
A lot more choices for you. And one particular choice is going to be hot tamales. So yeah, good
Wow.
job making that decision. That was good on you. Ooh,
Thank
King of
you.
Pentacles, money. Dude's
King of
got money.
missed-
Wow.
I've
That's
missed
awesome.
some tea. They need to call me.
I don't know. Just walked away from that
Yeah.
devil, so that's good.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we only have 3 minutes left. So I don't know. I don't have anybody else, it looks like, on to read the list. I do want to thank you all very, very much for tuning in. We're here. Also, anything for, I don't know how to say this name, McKenna. Evil, can you read? Is it Evelette?
Oh, yes, that's Evelette.
Evelette?
You're correct. Evelette.
Okay, Evelette. And while Susie's looking at the cards on that one, so please subscribe. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. It's been rebranded. It's now called Emergency Encounters. We need subscriptions. We need people to follow us. We need people to like these live streams, leave like heart icons. I am actually saying, please
Holy
subscribe.
cow.
We're kind of starting over again. We decided to bring the shows over to our own YouTube page, and it used to be Pocatello Paranormal Research. We've rebranded Emergency Encounters because we also do first responder discussions. So we need all of the followers we can get. Thank you, Susie.
Yep. So Evelette, the universe says that I hope I'm on, that you have a new love coming at you. It's a young one. It's something new. It's brand new. It's very youthful. This person has been watching you for a while on your social media. Whatever you're posting, this person is watching you. But once if you want, because you will have free agency, if you start dating them, this could be the one. 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands is marriage. 10 of Pentacles is everything. It's the love, it's the family, it's all of it. So,
Wow.
but it's your choice because you have the 9 of Cups underneath that, and you'll know who it is when they show up.
Wow. Yay. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody. We've come to the end of the live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing. We love you so much, and we will see you next Wednesday. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.